Oh, no, I'd get all 6 donuts would go in my lunch. Yes, the whole pack. Because, Dad was kind of just monitoring us while we'd make our lunch, but we definitely had the final say in what goes in. So it could have been all desserts and maybe one little chip bag. And he was like, well, if that's what you want,
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so it was definitely him just trying to please us and not rock the boat. He's like, that's what your mum lets you do. It wasn't. But we told him that's what she let us do. And
you gotta know that.
Thursdays and Fridays were definitely special at Dad's house because we definitely came home to Mum with a sugar high.
Gdayall, and welcome to episode 86, A Kid in America. So it's not me. Phil, he's left us again today. I know we all miss him terribly, but, forget Phil. We've got Kaeli.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Kaeli is one of the team at USAFoods. She's been working with us for a while, and we've sort of adopted her, actually, which is great. Kaeli is American and Australian, so she's going to talk about her childhood in America, and then she moved to here, and there's a bit of a adjustment that happens.
Yes.
So now we're going to do fun facts and chat at the same time. So fun fact number 1. Kaeli plays Aussie rules footy.
I do. It is a big 180 playing, all the American sports, soccer, basketball, that kind of stuff. And then coming here and playing AFL, it's been a big turnaround, but it's definitely got me in the Aussie culture for sure.
And you've won the game?
We did today, yes. We smashed it as always. But I love playing footy here.
Could I jump in?
Yes.
What's the hardest rule in AFLs you had to sort of kind of come to terms with?
Oh, I would say the hardest thing about AFL is probably kicking goals, to be honest. In basketball, it's backboard. In soccer, it's a big net. But footy, I think, is really hard just to grasp that you can get a point or you can get 6 points, and which is really hard to wrap my head around because, yeah, it's just completely different to American sports. So, yeah, definitely not a goal kicker, that's for sure.
Did you have a goal at netball here where you were at school?
I did, yeah. I played a little bit in high school, and then I play with my mum throughout the week, just like casually. But yeah, that one was really hard as well.
That
like
stopping.
The sections and no running with the ball as well. So that was a crazy one as well.
I used to have that. Mackenzie and Ainsley both play basketball, and when as a parent, you can say, oh, she's a netballer, because you're like, run, it's okay.
Take the ball with you.
Dribble. Now, Kaeli also is multi-talented because she has 2 accents.
Yes. So when I talk to my family, it comes straight back because I feel like a bit of an outsider sometimes, and then as soon as I'm, back in the Aussie world, I'll put on the Aussie accent. No one will ever know. So it's like I'm living a little double life. So it is a bit fun, but it sometimes slips out, and a few things I say will have a bit of a twang to it. But yeah, I live a double life.
Is you have to get yourself ready, and off you go when you talk to your parents.
Yes,
I'm sure that when I get mad, I sound more American.
Yeah,
it comes out
definitely. When I'm not thinking about it, it slips out.
Actually, Ainsley broke that to me. She said, "Do you know Kaeli has?" I went, "No, she does not."
I do talk to her a lot, so I'm sure she would hear it from me.
And you also have a sister close in age to you that lives in America.
Yes, so she's 5 years younger than me. Her name's Skylar. So her and I were both born there, but she lives there with my dad in Alabama. And unfortunately, COVID, we haven't seen each other in a little while. But she's heading over here for a trip in a little while, so get to see her again, which would be nice. But yeah, we live apart, but definitely brings us closer, I think.
Oh, and that's good.
Yes.
And she will be having a whole different schooling experience than you did.
Definitely.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
and
so it gives us a lot to talk about as well when we catch up. Nothing's ever the same in our lives, so it definitely keeps it interesting.
Well, people do have to be different than their siblings, so I have found in my own house.
Yes.
And now what we're going to do is we're going to be learning more about Kaeli and American foods and lunches and all those things, and coming because we're lucky we kind of forget about it because we're at USA Foods and we see all the stuff from home, but
Yeah.
you would have had a few moments of like, oh.
Before I found USA Foods, I definitely was struggling, to say the least.
But luckily your family would send things over, wouldn't they?
Definitely. It did cost them an arm and a leg, but they would do it for me because I was definitely needing some Takis or some Flamin' Hot Cheetos every now and then.
And now we can do that. So we will get back to all of that. We're going to have a little break, and so there'll be more after the break.
Welcome back.
Now, Kaylee's working on her Phil impersonation. We can now have Sean, Anna, and Kaeli. We should have a winner with a grand prize at the end. Phil can pick. Now, we're going to talk about a few things. First of all, let's get some groundwork. How old were you when you moved back to Australia?
So I was 14 years old. I was halfway through year 7 and they chucked me into year 8 at the start of that year when I got 2014, sorry.
Yep.
And yeah, jumped straight in. So was still pretty young and didn't think that I would be here for another 7-8 years now onwards. So definitely wasn't expecting to stay so long.
Right, fair enough. And now, how long was it before you assimilated and kind of toned down the American accent here?
It was pretty quick because, middle schoolers aren't the most nice people.
No, I understand
and
that.
especially if you're a little bit different. So I picked up the phrases pretty quickly, but I think the accent stayed along for a lot longer. So probably I would say by year 9, I was like pretty subtle about it. Every now and then I would say something, but yeah, so about 2 years I kept the accent. So, but every now and then it still slips out.
Well, that's okay.
Yes.
You're still American.
Yes.
You're there for a long time. And I was just saying to Kaeli earlier, when I was an exchange student, I was 16. And that was one of those things my inflection changed probably more than the actual accent. And then it made it a little bit easier for people to understand.
Yes.
And not people to kind of look at you funny.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, what was your biggest shock with school here?
Oh, I think the main one is uniforms. That was a huge thing for me because, I'm a very expressive person sometimes. So I felt like I was stripped of my individuality. So uniforms was one thing. And then, of course, I think school lunches was the second. Like, no cafeteria, you don't sit down and, sit at a big table and have lunch. Getting to spend like almost an hour outside for lunches was crazy to me as well. So I think those are the top 2 things that really shocked me when I got here.
So give me a little snapshot of what your high school was that you left.
Yeah.
Or your junior high you would have been then.
Yes. So at around 11 a.m. we would go in for lunch. I was lunch group A. So we were the early one, unfortunately. So we'd go in, we'd wait in this huge line at the cafeteria. It probably took 10, 15 minutes to even get to where all the food was. Buy your lunch really quick, sit down, scoff it down, and then by 11:40, I was back to class. So didn't get to go outside, didn't get to go kick a ball or anything like that. It was sit down, eat, get back to class. So I was back to class by 11:45 and didn't get to snack on anything until I got home. So that's the disadvantage about being lunch group A, unfortunately. But
not even time to like gossip or
no,
anything.
not even. By the time you find your seat and you find your friends, it was a whole debacle, really.
What would be a typical lunch you would have had? Or what was your okay, give me best and worst in the cafeteria. I can remember mine.
So chicken fried steak was my absolute favorite. That was
Very
always on
good.
Thursdays. We got a bit of mashed potato, a bit of green beans. I would always skip out on the milk because I just couldn't bring myself to drink the boxed milk.
No.
So I would always grab like one of those little, they weren't sodas, but fizzy drinks. It was like sparkling water. So that was like my favorite day of the week, grabbing some chicken fried steak. The worst one was probably the pizza. It was just cardboardy, no flavor, didn't look forward to it. I was regretting not packing my lunches those days, but yeah, that would be bottom of the list,
So
unfortunately.
was it similar? It was like they never cooked it enough?
It was raw all the time.
So the cheese in the middle was still cold?
Still cold. Nothing good about it, but yeah, definitely bottom of the list for me.
Well, there you go. Over the era, over the years, that's still stuck.
Doesn't change.
So you would have moved into a canteen here. So did you, when you got here, did you pack a lunch or did you go to the canteen or how did you work around that?
So, yes, I did pack my lunch. My mum was very, very strict about that. She was like, no buying any food at the canteen, don't know how it's changed since I last been here. So, yeah, I had a full lunch because, I was a very hungry kid. The portion sizes here, they are another shock. So I had a full lunch box. It always had sandwiches, some cookies, and, a little granola bar. So, yeah, I didn't start buying lunches here at the canteen until like year 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge shock, tiny little canteen, nowhere to sit. They just want you in and out, and you have to pay on the spot, which was another thing. In America, you have like a little of a tab, and your parents pay at the end of the month, or they can pay in advance. So I was a bit shocked when I had to, pull out whatever spare change I had on me to just to get a potato cake or something like that. So that was, a bit of a shock. And, mum was like, oh, well, I'm not sending you with any lunch money. You want a potato cake? You get it yourself. So, yeah, that was a bit rough, but I definitely was pretty strict on packing my lunch until year 11 and year 12.
Well, then, you kind of deserve a little break by then.
Yeah.
I remember being a mother in the canteen and all of a sudden going, oh, is this what you get?
Yeah.
And some of the schools have cafes where they have coffees because it is Melbourne.
Yeah.
And all that sort of fancy stuff.
Yes.
But now potato cakes is a good canteen choice. Now, I did have a bit of a cultural thing as well, because walking around and having no place to sit, Sally and I would walk around with Sunny Boys and we'd sit on the hot pavement. And actually, it was the 80s before we knew too much suns. We were trying to tan our legs in the meantime, which was probably naughty in the whole thing. But it's a whole different thing. I quite like that. Here you can kick a ball around if you want. You have time to sort of, do things or finish up something if you need to run into the library.
Definitely.
You can have some extra time.
Yeah, lunchtime here is more of a free time, whereas lunchtime in America is sit down, eat, head down, straight back to class. Like, it was completely different. And I did enjoy the, encouraging you to get outside and, move your body or, go to study hall kind of thing. So, yeah, lunches here, completely different. Huge shock, but very thankful I did get to experience it.
Now, a thing that Anna and I were talking about is, and we've had a little chat about going to the milk bar, the corner store for me after school. And you were saying that you really didn't have that much of an opportunity.
Yes. Especially growing up in America, my dad is a US Marshal, so he's super strict. It was straight to school, straight home, nothing in between. But if I did get to see my friends after school, we would go to Quick Trip, which is an amazing gas station. It's got hot food, cold food, drinks, slushies, milkshakes, the whole lot. You can get anything there. And so before Friday afternoon, go to our friend's house and they would drop us off at Quick Trip, and we would just pretty much get dinner, snacks, anything we needed, and they would just, give us $10 and we could just go crazy with it. But I noticed here that, let's go get, a candy from the milk bar here. And I'm like, milk bar? That's so crazy. And it's so close to school. Like, usually I've noticed that a milk bar's on the corner of a primary school or something here, or there's always food around schools here, which is completely different to America. You have to drive 10, 15 minutes from school to get a snack afterwards. But yeah, it was a huge shock being able just to walk up the street, grab a little candy and head home after school here.
We've got a fish and chip shop up the road that is about, 3 doors down from the corner store or the milk bar. And you can smell the hot chips when the high school gets out.
Yep.
And yeah, that is a different sort of thing. Now, we used to sneak out, going to the dentist. We take a little extra turn around.
Yep.
And Anna used to run in after school every day on her way home.
So crazy. I would never have been allowed to do that, I think that's just culturally as well here, got a lot more freedom to and from school. But yeah, definitely had to do a lot of begging in the car for Dad to stop at Quick Trip, please. That'd be so good this weekend. I just wanted taquito and a red slushie, please. And he usually caved and, we got what we wanted and we were very happy on Fridays.
Yes. Dads are good like that. Like I also had a law enforcement father who had similar sort of things. And as I got older, when I'd leave his house and drive home to mine, he knew how many minutes it was. And if 5 minutes late calling him when I got there would be a phone call going, why didn't you call me?
They know what's up.
They know exactly.
They track everything. And I think, it's obviously with good reason, but sometimes it makes you feel like you're going crazy. You're like, I'm 1 minute late, Dad. Give me a rest. Maybe I wanted an extra slushie or something for a friend, but yeah.
Now, do you find when you go back that you have to readjust?
Definitely. Yes.
How you sort of just look around you and what you're doing. And
just, for one, expect every drive to be longer than what you think it is.
Yes.
I'm so lucky to live in a place where I can go anywhere and it's 5 minutes. Grocery store, food, drinks with friends, 5-10 minutes max. And then I get in the car at home and I'm like, geez, 20 minutes to the nearest grocery store. This is a trek. And then also ordering food back home is so crazy. I blend in here. I'm like, yeah, I'll get a water. And they go, what? I'm like, oh, sorry, a water, please. Water with lemon. And they're like, yep, got it. So definitely have to remember how to order food back home because, you have one little twang and they'll have no clue what you're talking about. And then the obvious tax.
Oh,
going into the
so
grocery
hard.
store, going to get food, anything like that. Is it 7 cents to every dollar? Is it 8 cents now? And you pull out $5 and it's $5.13, and you're like, dang, I should have brought an extra dollar. You have to run back out to the car. I'm like, Dad, I'm so sorry. I should have remembered. But
I remember the tax.
yeah, we don't have that here in Australia. So that's another thing I always forget as soon as I get there. And tipping, of course.
Yes.
Forget that my friends back home don't earn as good a wage as I do here, which I'm very fortunate for, but that is another thing I do forget is to tip.
And especially I would think when I go home, I love going to like the old like diners or little restaurants and things at home, and some of those waitresses have been there for 30 years, and so it's important to remember to tip, especially in those sort of places where
definitely
people are counting on it. Now, what would be, when you go back, because Kaeli's heading back soon for a little visit, what is the first thing you're going to have?
I think just because of the time I'm arriving, I think I will be heading to Waffle House. It should be about 2 a.m. and they'll be open.
Beautiful.
And I will get probably some biscuits and gravy.
Oh,
I can't wait.
Yes.
Chocolate chip pancakes, and then hash browns scattered and smothered and covered. So I go big when I go home.
So explain the scattered and smothered and covered for the general audience, please.
When you go back to America and you get hash browns, it's not one little compact little piece of food. It is a big tray of just shredded potato, but so you can get it covered with cheese, you can get it with onion, you can get a whole bunch of toppings, you can get it with anything else that you want on it. So when I get it covered, I get it covered with cheese. When I get it scattered, it's got a bit of onions in it. And then smothered, I think is a little bit extra butter or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but
you're having it.
I can't wait for it. So that'll probably be my first call of action when I get home. And then once I recover from the jet lag, because I'll be heading to the south, I will be hitting up Chick-fil-A for sure. I'll get the spicy chicken sandwich with some waffle fries and probably a vanilla milkshake.
Oh, very nice.
I've had it, rehearsed in my head because I'm so excited to go back and just devour. But yeah.
Hey, why is that girl smiling so wide?
I know. I'm gonna have the biggest smile and I'll be so excited. But yeah, I think those will be my first two.
And will you take a trip around the grocery store just to take it all in again?
Yeah. I'll be hitting up the cereal aisle and, remembering what the good days were like, having 40, 50 cereal choices. And then I will be hitting up the Eggos because for the 14 years of my life, I had Eggos without no interruptions every day for breakfast. And so, yeah, I'll be getting back into that routine.
Oh, that would have hurt not having the Eggos.
It was rough. Before finding out about USA Foods, I definitely struggled with breakfast. I don't think I ate breakfast until I found out about USA Foods, and now I cannot go back without my Eggos. So they are a staple for me for sure.
Now, with your Australian mom, what did she do anything when you guys were living in the States that was like Australian, that you would consider Australian there?
Slightly. Like she would make certain dishes that they weren't, I would say, Australian, but they definitely weren't American. It was something that she would grow up with. So we'd have beans on toast.
Yes.
That's a huge thing I could never wrap my head around. So she would definitely make that on the nights that it was, kind of fend for yourself, but she'll put something on the stove for you. So beans on toast, and then just a lot of because I think the Asian food here is incredible. Like it's not something that we have back home. So she definitely would try to make a lot of Asian food because that's what she grew up with here. So a lot of Asian dishes, and then just the little things like beans on toast and just toast in general. I didn't really eat a lot of toast growing up just because of my Eggo obsession. So toast was definitely a staple when we ran out of Eggos.
Oh, fair enough. You think about stuff that you make. I make my mom's stew, and I try to get peanut butter and jelly sandwiches into my kids just because I thought you had to have that.
Have to have it. It's a staple,
and you have to grow up with it because
absolutely.
Darn it, I'm American. You have
yes,
to have some of it.
If I enjoy peanut butter jelly, you must too.
Yes. So, but they did Kenzie liked Vegemite much more.
Oh, I cannot get around Vegemite. That is one thing.
I don't think you can start at 14.
I don't think so either. My mum tried and I just couldn't get around it. Like, don't get me wrong, I love salty foods, but I think this is just a step too far. And I know it's controversial, but just not something I'll ever get around, unfortunately.
That's okay. On the flip side, my dad loved it. And I would have to bring jars of it to him. And I was like, you are one of a kind, Dad.
Definitely a special one.
And now, your grandparents, your dad's parents, so what state are they in?
So they are in Georgia, born and raised. So they are true Southern peaches.
And what are their grandparent names?
Grandmama and Dish. So, the stereotypical weird grandparents' names.
That's okay. I love that.
Grandmama was supposed to be grandmama, but because, I have an Australian mum, it didn't really work out like that. Yeah. So it was grandmama. And Dish, I actually have just one day pointed to him and said Dish, and that was his name. So I don't know if I was actually looking at food on a plate and said, give me the dish, and he just took it as that's his name. But yes, that is my grandparents' names, and then Meemaw is my great-grandma. So very Southern, that one.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes. Now, what is the favorite thing to eat at your grandparents' house? Because I would think that they might want to spoil you a little bit.
Yep. So one thing that my grandmama made was monkey bread, and it is so simple but so incredible. So a bit of dough, bit of cinnamon, sugar, and then you put it in a bundt cake tin, and then glaze it with like a cinnamon sugar icing, bit of butter, and we chucked it in the oven. And it was just a summer staple. Every time I went to my grandparents' house over summer, my grandma would make it for me, and she'd have to make bunches of it because it was just my favorite thing. And I didn't even realize that it was called monkey bread because you pick at it like a monkey. You just take pieces and then you run off to the yard to go play, and you come back and grab another handful. But that is one of my favorite things that she makes. And I honestly, it's embarrassing, but I dream about it. It is so good. And it's so simple, but it is unreal. It's just one thing I've just never forgotten about.
Now, what about a savory dish?
Oh, goodness. Probably, it's actually not very American, but she would always make breakfast for dinner. So we would have like a pizza dough base, but she would put sausages, a bit of chorizo, veggies, and like just make a breakfast pizza. So a little bit of scrambled eggs and bacon. That's just one thing I cannot forget about over summers, was having breakfast for dinner. That was something I always looked forward to. But yeah, she killed it every time, and I will definitely be asking for it when I go back.
I think she's probably just stocking things away
now. Absolutely. She's asking everything I want now. So she's got a list going, and I can't wait just to be fed like crazy.
Beautiful. You're going to have to take notes while you're away. Absolutely. And make sure you send things back and let us know what we need to get.
All the recipes.
Well. Yeah. Now, when your sister comes here, when she's here,
yes,
what can't she wrap her head around here? Or what does she find difficult? Or what does she miss from here and really enjoy?
I know she definitely misses Chinese food because, again, Asian food here is incredible. Yeah. Something that we don't really experience back home. So she definitely comes here and we go straight to Yum Cha. We'll go to our favorite Chinese places. I think since moving back, she's forgotten how laid back it is here. Like, you can just get on the tram and go to dinner, or catch the train and go to the city, go get drinks. So I think that's something that she's kind of forgotten about, just very laid back, don't have to be driven everywhere. You don't have to worry about getting an Uber or anything like that. Just the convenience of everything here, just getting around. But I think she'll be in for a big shock because it's been quite a while since she's been back.
Yes, I bet.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to catching her up and, getting around all the good food here.
So how long will it take before your first disagreement happens?
Probably first day. I would even say
Car
first couple
ride?
hours. Yeah, absolutely. The car ride back from the airport, who gets to sit in the front seat, that never fails to end in a few tears. But she's a bit more grown up now, so hopefully we've moved on from that. You'd hope.
As an only child watching my two children do that, I was like, do I wait till someone hurts the other one?
Exactly.
Or
Like, when do you draw the line? I know.
Now, what about here? So at USA Foods, what's it like working at USA Foods?
It's honestly incredible. I didn't realize that I would love this job so much. Like, I knew I would get so much benefit out of, getting snacks from home and, getting to try all the new foods that Sean gives us before they even hit the shelves.
That's fun, isn't it?
Best part of the day. But honestly, it's incredible. It feels like home, especially having, like you, Sean, Phil, just brings back that homey vibes of everyone talking an American accent, and it feels like home. And all the staff, they're absolutely incredible. I've made some great friends and couldn't see myself working anywhere else. And, at the same time, I get amazing snacks and, get to show everyone at home that I'm not missing out too much on all the good food. But yeah, it's 10 out of 10. I couldn't think of anything better.
That is good. And it's lovely sharing snacks because I love Chex Mix and you love Chex Mix, but you hate little rye bread pieces.
Yes, they are.
So Chanel, Barbara, here's a whole bunch of them for you.
I leave them just at the front of the bag because I just look at them and I'm like, oh gosh, they should not be in here.
They waste the space with it.
I know. They have a rye chip bag. They need a Chex Mix without the rye chip. Like, got to cater to everyone here.
I'm very sorry.
I know.
Well, we do like having you because she's always sunny and happy, but her knowledge is great, and you are really good at helping the customers out because we get people. It's very nice because everyone learns about different things because regionally there's a whole bunch of different things. Definitely. But you can answer the questions and help the people out that look a little bit lost in the shop, which is also nice. Now, we are going to talk about, we had Kaeli pick her top 3 faves.
Yes.
So tell me about them.
So my first, number 1 would be Cheetos. Whether they're crunchy or flaming hot, they are my go-to. Any day that I had some spare money on my school lunch tab, I would go grab some Cheetos with my lunch, which was an incredible day. And then Mum would be so confused why $1.40 was owing on the account. And I was like, don't worry about it. It's just must be something. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. So Cheetos are my top fave snack. And then Arizona tea, specifically the mango flavor, because it just brings me back to my middle school days with my friends. We'd go to Quick Trip and I would always grab an Arizona. We'd go home, we'd watch Ellen. It was a great Friday night. Couldn't complain. And then Cheez-Its remind me of my mum discovering them here, not realizing how what an amazing snack it is. So we would always have Cheez-Its at home. My mum liked the extra toasty ones, which I always tucked into, but I will say that the original is my favorite. But the extra toasty, they are pretty good too. I can't complain.
Well, we'll talk about the extra toasty ones a little bit more too, because that's good. Now, we were going to do a product profile for you in a little bit, so we will come back to that. Now, I think we will break now. We'll break now, and we'll come back with some more of everyone's favorite segments and see if we can keep Kaeli on her toes as well.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Kaeli. Yeah.
Quite feels hazard.
I know.
That's okay.
I'll work on it.
No, we cannot have that many excited people in one place at work. We'll explode.
Yes.
So now we've got a little bit of housekeeping to do. So the code for the month of May is Barbara.
Woo.
Because it's my birthday month and it's just, I get to be selfish one month. So
definitely.
So it's Barbara spelt Barbara. And that is the code. On the USA Foods website, you can click on the listener discount logo and that will get some specials up for you. The store is open 7 days a week. So check site for hours. Subscribe to the podcast, which would be really helpful because it gets it out to more people to have a listen. Or you can share our podcast as well and engage with us at podcast@usafoods.com.au. So now we have a personal best product profile. So I'm having Kaeli do it this week, and her pick is
The Hostess Donuts powdered, specifically.
That's the only good one. Well, no, look, in a pinch.
Yep. These were still are one of my favorite sweet treats. It specifically takes me back to the days when my dad was learning how to pack lunches as a single dad. And so he kind of just took us to the grocery store, specifically Target as well, and said, just grab whatever you think you'll enjoy at lunch. So we had free reign of Target, and we definitely, did as he said. We filled up the trolley and we'd go home and we'd pack our lunches and we'd be so excited. So the powdered donuts were one of the things that I would always put in my lunch. Look, they are just donuts, but they are incredible donuts in my opinion. Like, they're soft, they're powdery, they're sweet. They're just a good way to end your lunch, especially when you're in 5th, 6th grade. Just gives you that sugar high to go back to class.
That's
and
exactly
get through the rest of the day.
How many would you get in the pack? Would you put just one in your lunch?
Oh, no, I'd get all 6 donuts would go in my lunch.
Pack.
Yes, the whole pack. Because, Dad was kind of just monitoring us while we'd make our lunch, but we definitely had the final say in what goes in. So it could have been all desserts and maybe one little chip bag. And he was like, well, if that's what you want,
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so it was definitely him just trying to please us and not rock the boat. He's like, that's what your mum lets you do. It wasn't. But we told him that's what she let us do. And
you gotta know that.
Thursdays and Fridays were definitely special at Dad's house because we definitely came home to Mum with a sugar high.
You win because Dad, on the rare occasion that he had to make my lunch, one day, Brendan's still dying. I went to school and I took out of my lunch bag this sandwich that was like a giant liverwurst and onion, like red onion, nicely. But the liverwurst was about like a centimeter thick sandwich. And I was just like,
wow. What is this? You're like, thank you, but what is this?
I'm pretty sure I begged for my friends, can I have
please
some chip and
anything?
So I think your dad wins on the fun parents.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think now if I were to go home and at college, or my sister, it would not be the case. I think he's come to his senses and realized that just doesn't fly anymore. But I definitely got away with a lot.
Nice warm memory.
It is, yeah. It takes me back. So I always look at that and smile because I know he was just trying to make us happy, but definitely Mum was not happy when we were bouncing off the walls on her weekends.
Well, yes. Now, we had a good week in the shop last week, so we now have free coffee at the shop. So you can come in, make yourself a coffee, and we put cookies out and things, and I put donuts out the other way. I just told Sean, it's a donut day, and I'm putting those out.
It's a good day.
It was a good day. People were actually... And it wasn't mostly the staff that ate them either, which is the good thing. So I think we sold a few, and they are fantastic. We've got a heap posters in at the moment too, so that won't. So you can help and grab some. And also, please be careful, people, because the best part about them for me too is how they can nearly kill you. Because if you breathe in when you're taking a bite, the powdered sugar, you just
Yep. You've got to have a drink nearby.
That's exactly. And don't wear navy, blue, or black.
Yeah, it gives it away.
Now, we've been lucky enough to get some good feedback, and this week we have got a beautiful feedback letter from Shari Reed. Now, I will also be answering her personally. I'm not going to be able to cover the whole letter because it's quite long and really very lucky to get to know her very well. So she has been meaning to email for ages. So this is why she's, this one's a bit expansive. She has been listening to us since 2020. So, and she is sincerely grateful to our podcast because we bring her joy, and that's what we hope. Now, a little bit her, she has she's a rare cancer survivor from GIST, which is a sort of stomach cancer. So she had a lot of treatment, and during that time, she decided to look at her American roots. She was born in the States, but came here when she was little. So she used to go back and visit family in the States. She was born in Washington. Whenever I visited, I'd come back with a suitcase full of whatever food I could get through customs. And I so relate to that statement too, because I was like, what's that? I was like, it was Valentine's Day. Look at all the candy. He's like, yep, just go through. So she also started listening to more podcasts and that could help her with American culture. And then first she found us, and then she found one that's an early American history podcast called Ben Franklin's World, which she is very involved with. She's a moderator on their Facebook site now. And that is her favorite thing to do, is to enjoy some USA Foods snacks while she's listening. Now, while she's after her diagnosis and everything that went with it, she became lactose and nut intolerant, which is a bummer, but there's so many alternatives these days. I just love that there's so many US products that are both lactose free and nut free, and as we know, a lot of them are gluten free, incidentally, as well. Even better still, Phil, this is you. You better listen, Phil. I took you up on your advice to add a coffee mate capsule, contents only, to her coffee frother. Oh, wow. So simple, but what a revelation. And it's lactose free. Heaven, really? Thank you. She finished her slow cooking recipe, our slow cooking episode, and she has sent along a recipe for a rice dish that I will include later. So you can cook some rice in a crock pot, which we were talking about, and you can change it around. I will put your additions, Shari, as well as your changes for substitutions in the recipe when I write that out. Hopefully she's coming to Melbourne in November. She's got a conference and she's going to try to make her inaugural visit to USA Foods because she's one of her online shoppers. By the way, Kaeli would be one of the people as well that would be packing.
Yes.
With love.
Yes, definitely.
She also likes to send notes to people, like have a happy Easter.
I love that. That was my go-to phrase over Easter.
She does the sweetest little notes when Kaeli sends you a package. I walk out there and go, oh. So anyway, she wished us a happy Mother's Day and all that. And so hopefully we'll be speaking to Shari again soon. So this is the reason we do it, is to make people happy. And we're glad we could help her while she was on her road to health, which is great. Mm-hmm. So now, knowledge nuggets. Do you know the story of knowledge nuggets?
I do not know.
I joke we do this because of Anna. So this is, now we're catching Kaeli on the fly. This is something that you do when you're cooking, or I'm cooking something and I'll say, Ken's, Ains, by the way, when you do this, make sure you do this. So the one I go to, if you are melting butter in a pan and cooking in it, put a little bit of olive oil in it and it won't burn. Those little tricks, right? Or how to make rice. And I joke because Anna's like, what? She didn't know there was different power on the microwave.
Yeah.
Remember that day?
I do.
And I showed her, and then she thought it was really cool.
Revolutionary.
I know. She goes, I was this, or did you guys know this? We're all like, yeah. Anyway, so that is a knowledge nugget. Right. So think for a second, maybe something one of your grandparents told you. Yep, right. So mine is for those people that like gadgets, and we have gadgets in our drawers, and I used to use this when I would do school lunches for my kids. I have one of those apple slicers that you push down on the apple and it makes like the wedges.
Yeah.
You can do that with potatoes and make home fries. Oh, like how much easier is that than cutting?
Incredible.
So that is my knowledge nugget.
That is so smart.
See?
We'll be taking that one in.
It's like I'll get more use out of you.
Yes.
Now, can you think of anything?
I can. I wouldn't say it's as revolutionary as other
microwave power.
Yes. I know that when I was the only one wanting ice cream at home, my grandma would do a single serve ice cream. And so what she'd do the cream, and I always wanted cookies and cream, so she'd crush up an Oreo, put that all in a Ziploc bag, and then in a bigger Ziploc bag do salt, ice, and would make me stand there and shake it for 10 minutes. And because of science that I can't explain, it would turn into ice cream, and she didn't have to put the whole churn bucket on and make ice cream from scratch. So if we didn't have ice cream at home, that's what she'd make me do. And, it wore me out, made me take a nap later as well. So it was a 2-in-1 for her. She didn't have to make any ice cream, and I took a nap a little later on. So stood there shaking it aggressively for about 10 to 15 minutes and had a single serve ice cream. So I thought it was pretty smart, especially grocery stores not nearby, especially in the South. So
I love your grandmother.
I
That
know.
is, if I had only thought of that.
I know.
Just stand over there for 10 minutes and see if you can be quiet.
And she would definitely pour a glass of wine while we were doing that as well, because I'm sure we've just, run her dry the whole day. And she was like, just go do something, make some ice cream. I don't know.
Well, that is great. And anyone that's got the kids on the weekend, please remember to do that. And you can do that with any flavor. So cream.
Yes. Oreos, and then I think we did put a little vanilla extract in.
Yeah, that would be good.
And I can't remember the recipe by heart, but I'm sure it's on Google as well.
And you
because
can wing it.
Yeah,
I mean, you
any
can
little flavor.
chop up peaches,
a bit of strawberries, anything. Yeah, and wears the kids out, so it definitely wore me out.
Well, I think that is fantastic. That is an impressive nugget. Thank you very much,
you.
Kaeli. Now, we also now have our super specials. Store super specials. Sean and I had a chat, and so we're going to go through these. Now, before I go to the first two, I just want to say we did a show, episode 70. It was the first show of 2022 on PB & Co. and the peanut butter there. So it's one of like Jerry Seinfeld's favorites. So make sure you come down or order online because we actually have it 50% off now.
Wow.
So if you want it, stock up. Jeanette sent me a note to make sure I put a couple on Phil's desk for her while he's away. So they're going home. And we also have, we mentioned some special, we have candy popcorn and the cookie popcorn. So, what do we have? Oreo and Twix
Butterfinger
and Snickers. And that's on special right now for $8.99. Wow. Get one of each. They're amazing because we've been eating a few of them because I think a couple of bags might have broken.
Oh, what a shame.
Open. Oops. And we've tried that. So those are specials right now that you'll be able to see on the website as well. But store super specials in Kaeli's honor or her mother's honor, the extra toasted Cheez-Its. They are down to $9.99. And the Reese's Puff cereal, the 43-ounce, a huge box, down to $20.
Bargain.
That is it. So you can have your nice cereal and get it on. Sean wants to make sure that we all get these things. He needs more room in the warehouse. So please get to that, people. Now, on to one of my favorite subjects is we've got Goss, which is usually food news, etc. But now it is Oreo flavors. It's ranked. The best thing is we've tried most of these. And you might have had more at home because I know I've definitely missed out. So this was Delish did this and they rated from best to worst. Worst to best. And I might disagree with a few of them. And as I said before, there's Oreo popcorn. So that's on special. So you can get your hands on that. Over the years, there have been, I'm just trying to see, 85 plus flavors.
Wow.
In the brand's history. Wow. And do you think cookies and cream ice cream is the one thing that sort of made them as well? Because
especially if you're making it at home, you don't go the generic brand, you say Oreos, grab a couple Oreos. So definitely,
absolutely. So let's go through. Kaeli and I will talk about what we've had and what we haven't. So what they have put down as their worst, I disagree with highly because it's my fave.
Yeah,
it's the birthday cake Oreo.
I also disagree. I love anything birthday cake flavored.
It's the sprinkles.
Yes, it makes it. I don't know who wrote that, but
they're wrong.
I agree.
Did you try the cupcake flavored Torani?
I haven't yet. Ainsley said it's incredible. I trust her advice.
That tastes sort of birthday cakey, if I may say. But I love the birthday cake Oreo. Now, then they have fudge dipped Oreo thin bites. Pretty ideal snack for those who like chocolate mini things, feeling vaguely ill after putting down an inevitable bag's worth of the stuff. I do find that that's the problem with the thins.
Yeah. You feel like you're having less, so you can have more, and then you eat the whole box. And then
that defeats the whole purpose of the thin. I personally am not huge on the fudge dipped Oreos.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's, cream, cookie, and then fudge as well. I mean, I am a big sweet tooth, but I don't know if I could put down a lot without a tummy ache for sure.
Sort of makes my teeth hurt.
Yes.
The idea.
Yep.
Now, Oreo mince thins.
I'm actually not a fan of mint, so
Oh.
I would agree. I
Not a big
don't
fan.
like mint flavored things, so unfortunately, I do agree.
I did enjoy these because they were more chocolatey
Mm.
and the thin layer of mint in it. So it just had a hint of mint. So it's almost
Right.
like, I can't explain it, but if you're not a huge mint fan, I
Mhm.
would go the thins before the regular ones.
Yeah.
Now, Oreo Thin Bites, which we haven't had, they're tiny ones, and it's the cream to cookie ratio is the subject of debate. Are the Thin Bites just too much cookie for too little cream? All signs point to yes, they say.
I see the struggle around that one.
Chocolate Oreo Thins.
Ooh. I mean, I feel like it's nothing insane, but like, if I wanted something small and chocolatey,
That'd do it.
yeah, tuck into them, but I wouldn't say they're top of the list for me either.
Now, I hope Sean listens to this, and I hope we can find this.
Ooh.
Churro Oreo.
Ooh.
I'm guessing that might be maybe a golden, like the golden
Mhm.
cookie
Yep.
with cinnamon. Let's see. It says infinitely less popular than the classic Oreo, even though it's one of the most straightforward flavors. Oh, sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. That's for chocolate, which they're saying is just bland. Back to churro is released as part of the mystery flavored Oreo contest. This cookie features churro flavored cream. However, it didn't knock anyone's socks off. I don't think so. Now, when you go home, you said your grandparents belong to Sam's Club.
Yes, they do.
And will you be hitting Walmart?
I will, absolutely.
Because they have their own Oreo flavors that
really?
that don't necessarily go everywhere. They get them first or just for them first. So you need
that's so exciting for me.
There you go. That's that bit of useless knowledge I can help you with. And if you maybe bring some back for people.
Absolutely.
Oh, now we've had these peanut butter Oreos, and we've also had peanut butter pie Oreo.
Yes. I love a peanut butter chocolate combination. So I personally would have put this higher, but I mean, if you're not a huge fan of the peanut butter chocolate flavor, I get it.
But it does actually taste like peanut butter because sometimes the Oreo fillings can taste a little bit chemical, artificial. I don't know. Like, for example, for me, going down to this one, red velvet Oreo. I wasn't a big fan.
Neither was I. I mean, it was interesting. It wouldn't be a repurchase for me personally.
Well, yeah, it didn't have enough cream cheese sort of.
Yes.
And Oreo, just the mint Oreo, which we've talked about. So no for you.
No.
Chocolate peanut butter pie Oreo. Now, they were good.
They were good.
Why? Was it a bit more?
I mean, it was salty, it was sweet, but I think it just reminded me of cutting open a pie. Like, it definitely resembled pie flavor to me.
Right.
But also with a little hint of peanut butter, which is just extra points for me.
Now we've got spring Oreo. So some of these flavors we do manage to get on the off chance. So always have a look at the site. So it said we all remain a little unclear as what spring is. Is it yellow number 5? But we're not mad about it. It's just really yummy cookie with a bit of a neon streak.
Yeah.
So it's out.
Just a bit of exciting
That's
looks
it.
to it.
And we get excited at work because they're like Easter ones.
Yeah, exactly.
So they will have a little bunny on it and the little cookie will have a different sort of thing. And the dark chocolate Oreo, that was a big hit for me. We had those. This one was a big hit with their tasters who claim not to have much of a sweet tooth. Who are these people they've put? Exactly. While some say they couldn't tell that it was dark chocolate and they appreciated the cookie's subtle sweetness.
I agree. I'm not a huge dark chocolate fan myself, but Adam did come around with a packet and I grabbed one not expecting to like it, and it was quite delicious, to be honest. It wasn't too chocolatey, but definitely a good flavor all around.
I agree. Now, gingerbread.
Ooh.
Now, we haven't had that. We haven't had gingerbread.
No.
Now, that would be good. Golden thins. So I'm a fan of the golden Oreo. So thins would be fine.
Yeah.
Now, okay, a bit of controversy here. The carrot cake Oreo. Did you try that?
I did not. I unfortunately missed out, but I do think I would enjoy it. I love carrot cake flavored stuff.
It was cinnamon and it was a bit of cream cheesy, but it was a little bit of chemicals.
Bit lackluster.
Yeah.
10 to go.
10 to go.
Doing your list.
Yes. Sorry, but I'm skipping a few, so you
That's
never
right.
know.
Let's give the viewers where are we at?
Okay. The viewers. I thought
Listeners.
they just, yes, thank you. Because if we're streaming this, I'm in trouble. I need more lipstick. Caramel. Now, this just came in. Caramel coconut Oreo.
I have not tried it yet, but it's on my list of things to do.
Very good. Very, very good. Smooth caramel cream with coconut flakes. A combo to die for.
Yum.
Apple cider donut Oreo. I don't think we've had that one.
No.
But I would like to try that because I like
Definitely.
apple-y stuff.
Yeah.
Mega stuff Oreo. We've got those.
A classic.
You can't have too much cream in the middle.
Agreed.
Now, do you eat those? How do you eat your Oreo?
So, really, it just depends on the day. I actually, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of milk. I think I'm just a bit traumatized from the box milk. So, my dad would usually twist it, dip the one with like the cookie with cream in the milk, and then eat the cookie first and then the cream and cookie. But I just bit into it. He was never a fan of that, but I just had it as is. I didn't twist it, I didn't snap it, I didn't break it. I just had it in its original form. Just bit into
enough.
it. Yeah.
Well,
bit boring.
I do 3 because I do
Ooh.
one that I eat together, and the other one I rip apart and fried, and then the third one is the one I liked. So it was either to get which one I enjoyed the most. That's how I go to the third. And you would think I would know how to like it. But don't. Oreo pistachio thins.
Ooh.
They were good.
I did not try those.
We had those, and they were fantastic. Now we've got only a few more to go. 5 to go. Now, do you remember when the Lady Gaga Oreos came in?
I do. It was the talk of the town at USA Foods because we were in lockdown. So it was one of the most exciting things I think that happened.
There was one box.
Mm-hmm.
And they were sort of glittery on the front.
Yes.
So, and they had just neon cream in the middle, but really they just tasted like an Oreo.
I wasn't wowed. I think like visually I was wowed.
Yes,
but
visually it was.
It was just underwhelming.
Well, as this says, it's actually a golden Oreo in disguise, but we couldn't help but be tickled by the color.
Yes.
That is true. Now, the golden Oreo is the next, which I do love, but you can get sick on those too because they like that sickly sweet where the chocolate doesn't drop it off.
1 or 2 max for me after dinner for sure.
Now, the most stuffed Oreo. Now, I don't know this one. The Oreo with the most feedback, the general consensus was the most stuffed cookie is a 6-year-old's dream come true.
Wow.
A gloriously nostalgic cream-filled bite. There were party poopers who said there was too much stuff, but whatever.
It was about 4 times the regular amount.
That's perfect.
Never too much stuffing.
No. Okay, that's fine. Oreo, the classic one, a sublime cookie. They claim, except it needs milk for ultimate perfection, which you don't agree with, and I understand that.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so we've just had the Oreo.
Yes.
The classic one, and there's 2 to go.
2 more to go.
Right, build it up.
Okay. Who? What do you think? Lemon. I would not have put that up. Who did that? Who are these people?
Not people I'd be friends with personally. Lemon cake would not be in my top 3. Lemon Oreo, sorry.
No, but that's like, no. I'm skipping that because I'm offended. And the number 1 is the double stuff Oreo. There's nothing better in the goddamn world is the quote from the one of the
I mean, I guess it's something when you want a little bit more than usual, but you don't want to be, your socks blown off. It's a happy medium double stuff.
It is, but I think
more stuff.
I'm a bit disappointed.
Yeah,
because a mega should have got there. I think
so. Yeah.
Okay, so that is our talk on Oreos, and we will try to eat our way through the rack that's at work when we get back, just to make sure that we said the right things.
Yes.
Now, next week, we hope our fearless leader is back because we miss Phil.
We do.
It's not the same without him, is it, Ainsley?
Nah, Kaeli, get her out.
So now, first of all, Ainsley's being rude, but I want to thank Kaeli for rushing here after football.
No, my pleasure.
Putting up with a few technical mishaps and being lovely enough to join us today.
Thank you so much for having me on. I was so excited when I got the text from Barbara, but anytime you want someone to sit here and just talk away, call me.
I will. You've got a lovely voice too.
Thank you.
Now, the sign off this week is just sweet, just sort of like our guest today.
Aww.
We didn't realize we were making memories. We just knew we were having fun.
Aww.
That's by Winnie the Pooh.
Such a sweet quote.
So we will, or at least I'll talk to people next week. Hopefully Phil will be talking to people next week. If not, Who knows? See you guys next week.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
so much.
I like fried chicken thighs that make me feel so good. Bacon fat, I'd marry that if I only could. Stoking coals soothes my soul. I love my barbecue. Understand, I'm just a man with the pork fat baby back blues. I've known girls round the world, sweet as apple pie, candy lips and honey hips make me wanna cry. Love is fine, but so is swine. Just don't make me choose. 'Cause understand, I'm still a man with the pork fat baby back blues. I've been told you don't grow old living life this way. Maybe so, but all I know is I'm living day to day. Once you find a love like mine, you know that love is true. Understand, I'm just a man with a pork fat